The 1960s belonged to Britain. Motorways stretched further each year, wages climbed, and for the first time, ordinary families could dream of owning a car. Optimism ran through every showroom in the country. British engineering was still spoken of with genuine pride, and manufacturers promised the public a golden age of motoring. Advertisements spoke of innovation, comfort, and prestige. Dealers couldn't stock cars fast enough. But behind the confident headlines, something else was happening. Some of the most anticipated cars of the decade quietly became its greatest letdowns. One of them, in particular, was supposed to define British motoring greatness, but it didn't. Number 10. Austin 3 Litre. Launched in 1968, the Austin 3 Litre arrived with genuine ambition. Built by British Leyland, it was intended to sit at the top of the Austin range, a proper executive saloon to rival Rover and Triumph. Beneath its long bonnet sat a smooth six-cylinder engine borrowed from the Austin Healey, paired with hydroelastic suspension for a genuinely refined ride. The press expected something special. Here, finally, was Austin's answer to the boardroom car market. But reality proved very different. The styling looked awkward and dated even at launch, sharing little visual drama with its competitors. Buyers who wanted prestige simply didn't see it. Production numbers stayed painfully low, and within 3 years, British Leyland pulled the plug entirely. The consequences were brutal. Fewer than 10,000 were built, and the model became a footnote rather than a flagship. Today it's remembered mostly by enthusiasts, not the public. But the next car promised speed and glamour, and delivered something far messier. Number 9. Sunbeam Rapier Fastback. By 1967, the Roots Group needed a hit, and the redesigned Sunbeam Rapier Fastback looked like exactly that. Its sleek, coupe-like silhouette turned heads at launch, blending American-inspired styling with distinctly British trim. Motoring magazines praised its looks, and dealers expected it to lure buyers away from Ford and Triumph's sportier offerings. Unfortunately, the excitement didn't survive contact with reality. Roots was already in financial difficulty, and Chrysler's growing control over the company meant investment in refinement was limited. Build quality suffered, and the twin carburetor engine, while lively, couldn't match the performance image the styling promised. Sales never matched expectations, and the Rapier struggled to justify its price against battery-sourced rivals. Few buyers saw this coming, especially after such a striking debut. As Chrysler tightened its grip on Roots, the Rapier's identity blurred further. Would you have trusted a car this stylish, built by a company already losing its independence? The next entry had backing money couldn't buy, and still fell short. Number 8. Wolseley 1885. Introduced in 1967, the Wolseley 1885 carried one of British motoring's most respected badges into the Austin Morris 1800 Land Crab range. Wolseley had long stood for quiet, dignified British luxury, and buyers expected this new model to continue that legacy with modern engineering underneath a familiar upright grille. That optimism didn't last. The 1800 platform was famous for interior space and sturdy handling, but the styling was unapologetically practical rather than elegant, and traditional Wolseley customers found little of the refinement they associated with the badge. The transverse engine layout felt more utilitarian than upmarket. Sales lagged well behind Rover and Triumph equivalents, and the Wolseley name increasingly felt stretched thin across BMC's range. It becomes important later, as this badge dilution would haunt British Leyland for years. Loyal customers drifted away, and the marque never fully recovered its former prestige. That wasn't the biggest disappointment of the decade, though. The next car had Italian styling and Coventry engineering, and still couldn't find its footing. Number 7. Triumph Herald. When Triumph unveiled the Herald in 1959, expectations carried straight into the new decade. Its Michelotti styling was praised as genuinely fresh, and the separate chassis promised easy servicing alongside a famously tight turning circle. Magazines predicted it would flood Triumph's order books overnight. But reality proved very different. Early cars suffered from noticeably poor build quality, and combined with a relatively high price, sales started far more slowly than anyone anticipated. Worse, the swing axle rear suspension could jack up alarmingly under hard cornering, an unsettling flaw for a family car. Standard Triumph's financial troubles deepened, and the company was absorbed into Leyland in 1961, a takeover that ultimately rescued the Herald's fortunes through better resources and refinement. Would the car have found success sooner without those early stumbles? Possibly. The badge survived, but the shaky launch left a mark. The next entry wasn't undone by mechanics, but by a name nobody quite trusted. Number 6, Riley 472. Riley had a proud reputation for sporting saloons, and the 472, launched in 1961 as part of BMC's badge-engineered Farina family, was meant to carry that spirit forward with sharper Italian styling and improved comfort. Dealers anticipated strong demand from loyal Riley enthusiasts hungry for something modern. But reality proved very different. Underneath the restyled body, the 472 shared its mechanical bones almost entirely with Austin and Morris equivalents, offering little to distinguish it beyond badges and trim. Enthusiasts who remembered Riley's engineering individuality felt shortchanged by what looked like rebadged mediocrity. Word spread quickly, and sales suffered as buyers questioned what they were actually paying extra for. BMC's badge engineering strategy, so effective commercially in the short term, slowly eroded Riley's identity entirely. Was the criticism deserved? Most historians agree it was. Within a decade, the Riley name itself would vanish altogether. That decision would haunt BMC for years to come. But the next car aimed even higher, and its failure would prove far more expensive. Number 5, Jaguar Mark 10. Unveiled in 1961, the Jaguar Mark 10 was meant to be a statement of pure ambition, an enormous, luxurious flagship saloon built to challenge Rolls-Royce and conquer American export markets. With independent rear suspension and a 3.8-litre XK engine, engineering credentials were never in question. The press expected a sales triumph. Jaguar had just delivered the E-Type to global acclaim, and confidence within the company had rarely been higher. Surely this flagship would do the same for saloons. Unfortunately, its sheer width made it impractical on narrow British roads, and many buyers found the styling ponderous rather than elegant. In America, where it was aimed, competition from equally massive domestic saloons blunted its appeal further. Sales never reached Jaguar's ambitions, and the Mark 10 remains one of the company's most underappreciated missteps. Do you remember seeing one on the road? Few people do. That wasn't even the biggest problem Jaguar would face this decade. The next car promised affordable brilliance for everyone, and still managed to disappoint an entire nation. Number 4, Wolseley Hornet. Launched in 1961, the Wolseley Hornet took Alec Issigonus's revolutionary Mini and wrapped it in a traditional upright grille and a proper boot, aimed squarely at conservative buyers who found the standard Mini a touch too austere. BMC promised a car of genuine quality and distinction. Expectations from BMC's marketing were considerable, positioning the Hornet as sophisticated suburban transport for those who valued heritage over novelty. Unfortunately, the press response was brutal. One contemporary road test called the car among the least desirable ever offered to British buyers, criticizing both comfort and styling outright. The 848cc engine felt distinctly underpowered, and younger buyers saw little appeal in either the Wolseley or Riley badges. Sales stayed modest throughout the decade, never threatening the standard Mini's dominance. You'll definitely recognize the next car, because its badge alone couldn't save it from a corporate takeover that changed everything about what it represented. Number 3, Vanden Plas Princess for Litre R. Launched in 1964, the Vanden Plas Princess for Litre R combined a handcrafted, walnut and leather Vanden Plas interior with a Rolls-Royce-derived straight-six engine, an extraordinary pairing that promised near-limousine refinement at a fraction of Rolls-Royce prices. Anticipation was enormous. Here was old-world British craftsmanship married to genuine engineering pedigree, exactly the formula wealthy buyers were expected to embrace. Then the real problems appeared. The Rolls-Royce engine, while smooth, proved thirsty and complex to service outside specialist dealers, pushing running costs well beyond what buyers anticipated. The BMC-derived hydroelastic suspension, meanwhile, felt at odds with the car's traditional luxury character. Production ended after just 4 years, with fewer than 7,000 built. The car remains a curious footnote, admired by collectors but abandoned by the market it targeted. Was the concept simply too clever for its own good? The next car wasn't a niche experiment. It was meant to be Britain's biggest technological triumph of the decade. Number 2. Alvis TE21 and TF21. By the mid-1960s, Alvis carried a proud badge built on decades of coach-built refinement, and its TE21 Grand Tourer was expected to compete with the very best of Europe's exclusive sports saloons. Hand-finished coachwork and a bespoke straight-six promised something genuinely special for discerning buyers. Expectations ran high among wealthy customers who remembered Alvis's pre-war prestige. Surely a car this meticulously built, this expensive, would deliver performance to match its price and pedigree. That optimism didn't last. Despite the craftsmanship, the Alvis simply couldn't keep pace with rivals costing far less. Contemporary testing revealed a car that could be outrun by an ordinary Ford Cortina GT, a genuinely embarrassing comparison for something wearing such an aristocratic badge. Sales dwindled steadily, and by 1967, Alvis abandoned car production entirely, selling its factory to Rover. A once great marque quietly vanished. That decision would haunt British motoring's smaller manufacturers for years. But the biggest disappointment still lies ahead, in a car nobody expected to fail at all. Number 1. Rover P6B 3500. By the late 1960s, the Rover P6 finally received the engine it always deserved, a lightweight, ex-big V8, transforming it into the P6B 3500. Enthusiasts and journalists alike declared it one of the finest saloons in the world, combining genuine performance with Rover's award-winning chassis. This was meant to be Rover's crowning achievement, the car that would cement Britain's reputation for engineering excellence on the global stage. Expectations couldn't have been higher. Then everything changed. British Leyland's 1968 formation buried Rover inside a sprawling, mismanaged conglomerate. Investment that should have modernized the P6B further was diverted elsewhere, and internal politics repeatedly delayed meaningful updates while rivals moved forward. The car itself remained genuinely excellent, yet its full potential was never realized under corporate chaos that defined British Leyland's troubled history. It stands today as proof that brilliant engineering alone couldn't save British motoring from decisions made in boardrooms, not workshops. 10 cars, 10 stories of ambition undone by rust, rushed decisions, boardroom politics, or simple bad timing. Some, like the Rover P6B, were genuinely brilliant machines let down by circumstances beyond engineering. Others never had a real chance from the start. Together, they tell the story of a British motor industry capable of greatness, yet repeatedly tripped up by its own choices. Which car surprised you the most? Would any of these have succeeded under different management? Let us know in the comments below. We read every single comment. And if you enjoyed this journey, please subscribe to Britain Rewind. It helps us enormously. And there's plenty more British motoring history waiting for you.